Take it away, gentlemen.
That's right. It's another takeover. Zem is dead. I can't believe it.
Get your crabs out. We have killed him. He's dead and buried.
Me and my
Our
duck
stream
and
now.
Sippy are taking over the stream today to bring you Sneepy's first matchup of this tournament. Are we all extremely excited for it to see what he's going to bring out of the gate? We've got some interesting stuff going on here.
Some technical issues.
I hit the wrong button like 60 times. That's totally my bad.
Okay, I think Zem's just working out some slight technical difficulties, but I guess we should just go straight to the scorecards to see what Sneep can bring to this matchup today.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we saw Mucka yesterday.
Sneepy is a newcomer to this match. He's making his debut right here and now. Now,
Yeah,
I've called him the sleeping giant last night. Would you like to tell us a bit more about Sneepy?
Yeah, I mean he's been in the RaC community for longer than I have, and has demonstrated his prowess in multiple categories over multiple games for such a long time now. And he's been sort of lying in wait to everyone else has played all of their games now. So Sneepy is really running the gauntlet. He's going to be playing, as far as I'm aware, 4 games in 4 days. So the next 4 days will be nothing but Sneepy all over the shop. So we're going to see how well, today we're going to get our first glimpse of how he's going to perform. And whether that smack talk he brought to the stream yesterday is going to pay off and really is going to sweep everyone. So yeah, all Sneepy all the time. You can see he's the favorite in RaC 1. We've got we've decided already that RaC 1 was going to be the game we're starting with today. Something I'm very excited about after the last 2 games I commentated were all sweeps with no RaC 1. And if you know me, you know it's something I really wanted to see. I really wanted to commentate. But today we're definitely going to get it because we're starting with it. So yeah. And then Todd, which Mucka probably has the advantage. So it probably maybe will come down to size matters again. The absolute toss-up that game is.
Something that I would love to personally see. It's always a really close nail biter when it comes down to SM.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe we could look at the standings so far, but I guess there's not too much more to say. As I've said, we've all played our games apart from our Sneepy games, and I think as far as the standings go, I think everyone still has a chance of getting into the final. I think stuff has to go like right in a very particular way for Mucka or Izzy. So me, Mucka, and Izzy are all sitting at 1 win, 2 losses. And based on Sneepy's performance, any of us could get into could be into the final against Scotto, who obviously is a pretty guaranteed location, pretty guaranteed position now with his 3 back-to-back wins, 2 of them being sweeps. So yeah, it's really up to Sneepy how this goes moving forwards. It's going to be really interesting to sort of stay tuned for the next 4 days.
This is really going to be the week of Sneepy here, or more like all the contestants against Sneepy. Like I said on the tournament last night, it's really going to be up to the remaining contestants to try their best to take some points away from Sneepy, as this is going to be their chance to break the tie among them and head into the final.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a very, very interesting week as far as this tournament goes. I'm really excited, and I'm really glad that this tournament has went this way so far. It's gonna be one hell of a week.
It is going to be a hell of a week, yeah. And we're all going to have stakes in it. It's going to be hard for me to stay neutral because I think as I go, I want Sneep to lose as many matchups as he can. It's unfortunate that it's going to be that it's that way, but I need to beat him, and I need other people to beat him as well. So Team Mucka, really, despite the absolutely embarrassing of me that he did yesterday, which I'm still maybe slightly salty about. Team Mucka, so let's get those in the chat, and maybe go to the game feed to see these guys maybe sneak in that dirty P. Sub 50 this time, says Mucka. We'll see. We will see. It looks like Sneep's ready to go. It looks like they're both ready to go. Nobody that bothered about getting that practice in. Sneepy giving us a nice ratchet face there. We get maybe we'll just dive into it then. We'll get some verbal confirmation from both the runners that are ready.
Let's go! All in on me, baby! And you
Sneepy.
will be rich.
Sneepy.
Are you ready, Sneepy?
A word.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
Full of confidence.
Whew, just gonna be so easy.
A little bit
Sneepy
of
sweet, baby.
last second smack talk, Sneak. You actually could you
Okay.
mute? Could you mute, please?
Yeah, good night.
This is our stream, not yours. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Not even
Okay,
Zen's stream
Sippy.
anymore. It's our stream. Yes?
How about you do the honors of counting down the first? The
Oh, I'd
first
love
game.
to. I'd love to. All right. If both runners are ready, then we shall commence tonight's match in 3, 2, 1, go. And we're off to the races, folks. Now,
off to the races.
Mucka coming off of a hot dub from last night, really not easily earned. He really had to fight with all he got last night to get his dub, but things are not going to get any easier for him tonight. Sneepy is nothing to take lightly.
Yeah, especially in RaC 1, the first game here, we're going to be seeing, well, I mean, this is definitely the category that Sneepy has the edge in, and we're going to be seeing him probably taking an early lead as well. We are seeing him taking an extremely early lead. But, I mean, lots of things can happen in RaC 1. I'm really interested, just personally, to see what level of performance Sneep's actually on, because it's not obviously just going to inform this match, but the rest of them going forwards.
Yeah, you can really see Sneepy's experience coming into play here. He just has a really superior movement over Mucka here, getting a really nice early lead.
Yeah, the thing with the RaC 1 in particular is that if you have that little edge on your opponent in terms of movement, it's going to show up everywhere, not just in one place, not just on one planet. We're seeing, you know, superior movement from Sneep here when we haven't even got any packs yet, is already making an advantage of between 5 and 10 seconds. Mucka missing up River Skip there, which is going to cost him a little bit of extra time.
As we keep saying here, this River Skip is really quite finicky. You gotta grab that stone in a really specific spot, otherwise Ratchet will just slide right off and not even grab it for long enough for you to jump.
Yeah, it is slightly more precise than it looks.
Sneepy already done with the first planet here. Or the second, rather. Depending on how you look at it.
The second, but the first split, if you're a true gentleman. Nobody splits Velden in new game categories. So much so that even the Com Golds don't have Velden on.
Really?
Yeah, but the Com Golds for Nivalis don't make any sense because everyone just skips loads of bolts that you wouldn't skip in runs and says, look, I got a 140. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that you got a 140 because you've got 200 bolts. I'm not thinking of anyone in particular, obviously. Jackie. So we're going to be going up to the helicopter here, which is another set of RNG. Sneep's a little bit low on his bolts. He's going to be looking for 1k. Yeah, and he's a little shy now, so he's going to have to kill some of these guys to get some backup bolts.
Mm-hmm.
But he should be fine, ultimately. He might have to... but there's definitely a chance for Mucka to get some time back on him already.
Yeah, really not that bad at all in terms of bolts. He just has to kill a couple of these enemies on the way here. Maybe Mucka can get a little bit better RNG over Sneep, and he does. He gets that 1k for the helipack straight away.
Mm-hmm. And now that Sneep's got the helipack, we'll be able to see the benefit of some of his better movement sort of coming into shine a bit more. We're going to be seeing some chains all over the place in mid-airs. This game really just has some absolutely fantastic movement, and there's no real limit to how good you can be at it. You know, RaC runners live and die on their competitiveness, on the accuracy of their movement, on how good their mid-airs are, how well they're able to, you know, chain movement sequences together and keep their momentum as much as possible. You see, even here, just getting up, coming bolt is quite a tricky movement train where it's easy to fall off or it's easy to get ledged and lose your speed. In this game, if you're trying to keep your momentum and you end up on the ledge, you will just lose all of your speed immediately. We call it getting ledged. And Sneepy going for Yondo train skip here and getting it.
Very nicely done. Now, if I recall, that's one of the few rare instances where the runners have actually got this cleanly in first try. in the tournament.
Yeah, in my races, I think I got it the first time. I went for it and then failed it the next 2 times. Yeah, just thinking about it too much. Sneepy done with the train already. And Mucka coming up to do train skip of his own. If you're not aware of what this trick is, although I'm sure most people are by now, but getting hit by the rocket there during the cutscene frees up, like it unlocks your movement, so it allows you to move during this cutscene. You'd usually be frozen in place. It just allows the runners to get to the end of this sequence trigger before it even loads. Well, otherwise you'd have to do all that movement and lose that time.
Sneepy going for no silly faces on the loading screen. Unfortunate.
Unfortunately, I did notice that Sneepyy was trying to break some of the crates right before he got the gold ball, but accidentally walked into the gold bolt trigger too early. Now, that's not such a big deal in terms of the bolts, but in terms of bombs, you really need those bombs. You see he's only got 4 now. He's going to be using 3 of them as he goes into Jankpot. You wouldn't think that's a huge issue, but in Blarg, you really lose a lot of time based on what your bomb count is. It's pretty standard route to pick up the bombs that he has, but missing those can be really bad, especially if you don't get any doubles, which it doesn't seem like he's got. He's going to be, as I say, he's going to be using 3 bombs here, so he's only going to have 1 left for Blarg, so he can either pick some more up somewhere else, or he's going to be using the wrench a lot, which is going to be really slow.
Sneepy actually doing the faster method of breaking these bolts here.
Fast jackpot and then a double mid-air chain there, which is not trivial to get. He's really showing off the better movement that he has over Mucka here.
Really not afraid to pull out the hardest strats, even in this tournament setting at all. Kudos to him.
Yeah, very ballsy play from Sneep. But I mean, he's absolutely schmoving here. A very good co in all. You see him, he'll be buying the swing shot now. And then just leaving and going off to Eudora for an infobot and a gold bolt. Very short planet in AGB. Very short planet in all of the categories, really.
Yeah. Nice to have at least one quick one.
Yeah, it's true. You kind of just get in and get out. Even in AGB, where there is a gold bolt, it's right next to the ship almost. Not a lot to be done. The longest it is in an ACM, and that's only because you need to go and pick up the suck cannon as well, which doesn't make it that much longer. See Mucka getting that chain as well to the swing shot course. Something he struggled with in races before. So it's nice to see him hitting that now.
It's been nice to see improvements from all the runners all around, the more than they play.
Yeah,
it
I think
shows
it's time.
that... Sorry, go on.
No, you go.
I was going to say, it really shows that the runners are really putting all the time that they have into this tournament, grinding in between their matches to really try and get just that little bit competitive edge over their other competitors.
Yeah, it's been pretty fierce for the most part. I think as the tournament's gone on, we've kind of realized that things are a little harder than we actually anticipated. I think everyone was kind of expecting it to be a little bit less tense than it currently is. Especially with the current bracket situation. It's still, I mean, you know, we're over halfway into the round robin, and it's still kind of anyone's game. It's still in everyone's interest to play as well as they possibly can, even if they don't end up getting into the final. You know, that third place versus that fourth place position currently with a $1,500 prize pool is not a significant change in the not an insignificant change in the amount of money
Absolutely.
that our runners will be walking away with. Sneepy taking a little time loss here. He's going to have to do that Blarg strat again. And he gets it the second time. This jump around can be a little finicky, and you also need a good mid-air. Yeah, he's a little bit of a mistake again. There's still plenty of time on Mucka. Yeah, everything about this strat can be quite finicky. There's ways to clip back in bounds or to just slide off the rail, and you need a good mid-air here. Something I don't think we've discussed before on the stream is that if you don't land on the nose of that little ship there, you either die and have to attempt it again, or you have to glide around to the right, at which point you get the checkpoint. And there's no quick way to get back inside after you've gotten that checkpoint. So you have to load, which loses like 20 seconds. It's not small at all. So you have to really get a good mid-air just to get just onto the nose of that ship. But you see Sneepy pulling it off there. His mid-airs are practiced to the nth degree. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Sneepy is the most strongest in RaC 1 New Game Plus, I believe, as far as his RaC 1 categories go. And New Game Plus is all about movement.
You see how runners are synced up at the moment. I can imagine, I can only imagine that Mucka skipped the first block bolt and he'll be doing block 2. So rather, it doesn't look like it right now, but Sneepy is definitely still in the lead by about 20-25 seconds. Mucka will have to come back to block later to get the second bolt with the PDA, which is a common sort of beginner strat. It's not even. It's not actually even that much slower, to be honest, because you can get to the bolt faster with the PDA. It's definitely slow. I think it's only like 5 seconds though. It's not as much as you'd think. Yeah. We're getting the both of our runners getting the Blog 2 Frog Bolt here, which if you're a follower of me or Delta, you would know that in the official Ratchet and Clank All Gold Bolts bolt tier list, it was rated the worst bolt in the game because of the corridors leading up to it with all the frogs that just can kill your speed, or in some cases kill you at really inopportune times. The frogs are extremely annoying. Seeing a frog emoji in the chat, lots of frogs in this series, lots of frogs in this set. We'll be seeing the frog truck on the next planet, Rilgar, and then the frog boss on Todd. So, dust off your frog emojis. You'll need them lots of times throughout this race today.
Very nice to see Sneepy pulling absolutely no punches here. Going all balls out on all the strats so far.
Mm-hmm. We'll see if Sneep attempts Cineflips here. We've spoken about it a little bit before, but it's one of the hardest strats in the game, especially to learn. See Sneep taking a little bit of a pause here. We'll see if he gets it.
And for him, it's a
masterfully
piece of
done.
cake.
I don't think we've seen
nice.
a Cineflips fail yet in those that have attempted it. So
Yeah, I don't
it's
think we have.
interesting to see. I mean, people are making it look really easy, but it's that's a really, really not an easy trick to pull off. And yeah, Sneep blasting up, getting the SI on the frog truck there. More frog emojis necessary. And absolutely no fear going into that next chain. This is a really tricky chain to pull off well. But again, he's making it all look easy. Very few mistakes from Sneepy so far in the run.
You got to make sure you have your camera in a certain way going into this section as well, because there's a chance that you don't spawn the textures for this whole section, and then you will have to navigate it completely blind.
Yeah, it's something we've all had to do at some point, and it's a lot harder than it looks. Not something that you want to have to do in a race. You see Mucka doing the frog truck SI here as well now. Yeah, so Cineflips will have saved Sneepy about 20 seconds over Mucka in real guards. Again, not trivial. And you can see that they've desynced quite a bit after that, even though Mucka got the other strap pretty quickly.
Yep, frog truck.
Now Sneep getting the last bolt in Rilgar. You actually, unfortunately, have to load after this because there's a checkpoint on the bolt, and there's just no quick way to get back from this cave. I actually don't know if it's possible to get back because you would need to swim through that tunnel, and without the O2 mask, I think you die before you get to the other end. So yeah, just loading back is just the quickest way to get back to the ship, and he'll be off to Umbris now. Something we saw Mucka struggle with a little yesterday. With ILJs, not a beginner-friendly trick, and something that you can get burnt out on very quickly. So we'll see how Sneepy copes with that, being sort of new back after his holiday. If he was going to be rusty anywhere, this is definitely one of the places.
For your ILJs, you almost have to practice like you're going into the Olympics and doing ILJs, you know. It takes a lot of time and a lot of dedication to build up that muscle strength and that muscle endurance in your hands to be able to pull them off consistently and for the amount of times that you need to throughout this run.
Yeah, I mean, and even experienced runners can have real problems with it. I mean, The muscle memory can be all there, but if your hands aren't cooperating, which they often can if they get tired, it's so difficult and it can be so frustrating to keep going because it's just your hands really just say no, and there's not much you can do about it after that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in categories like any percent, in which Sneep dying on the Snaggleby style J there. I'm going to see what he's going to go for. Is he going to go for ship to boss? And I think he's just going back. A wise choice, to be honest. I was just about to say, especially in categories like any percent where ship to boss is all but required for a good time, it can be incredibly hard and demanding to grind that category just for Umbris. Even if you're consistent at ship to boss, there's only so many times that you can do it before your hands just start giving up. So Umbris is something that can wall even the most experienced runners. Yeah, another fail on ILJ there, giving Mucka quite a bit of time to catch up.
Ship to boss is the hardest ILJ in the game, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's not even close. There's nothing else that I like personally. There's nothing else that I would say I have any problem with on any level other than ship to boss. Yeah, if I fail anything else, it's because I'm not paying attention. But if I fail ship to boss, it's usually because my hands just give up halfway through. A very clutch Snaggleby style J on the third try from Sneepy there. Allowed Mucka a bit of time to catch up, but now that he's got the Battalia info bar, he'll be on his way to Battalia. Obviously. Where else would he go?
It can be even very frustrating to even practice those ILJs because since your hands give out so quickly, you can only practice them in really only short bursts. Yeah. 5-10 minutes tops at a time before you get huge diminishing returns.
We'll see Mucka going for the Snaggleby style J again now. This was his absolute bane yesterday. Collecting a few more bolts. Oh no, is he changing up the strats? Is he going maybe with a slightly safer path? I think he is. Unless he didn't get the other bolt.
Maybe we'll be seeing some strats that we haven't seen yet in this tournament.
Yeah, there's a few different ways to get to the end, and one of them, utilizing Ghost Ratchet, is a little safer than otherwise. I think Mucka's going to be attempting it here.
Yep, it looks like he's using the very ancient strat.
Yeah, now, this is a strat I haven't seen in a long time, but the one thing you need to remember about it is when you're doing it, you have to high jump up and around this ledge to avoid a checkpoint, because you want to be able to die a death warp straight back to your ships. You'll see that's the reason for the slightly weird path that Muck is taking there is specifically to avoid a checkpoint that would otherwise be ruining his day.
Man, this strat takes me back. I haven't seen this strat since I ran this game on PS2.
And there it is. Same location, but just without all the ILJs and hand cramps. And who can blame Mucker after yesterday for going for a slightly slower strat? I mean, really, just to keep himself in the game.
Man, it really feels like it's 2013 all over again.
Hey, I used to do that in 2017 in my any percent runs. Before I learned ILJ, yeah. I just couldn't do it. I wasn't consistent enough. Chat seems to be very happy with Sneepy on German here, the fastest language. Maybe he's just paying some homage to that old meme.
German being fastest? I don't know. Prince Vortex might have something to say about that.
Yeah, it skips all the dialogue in the game when you play in German.
Yeah, but French feels faster.
Need to go for Battalia SI here. Messing up a little bit, but getting a backup SI. That one's actually not that easy to hit. Another backup SI.
Very nicely done. Very nicely backed up here.
Going some wrench SIs. Yeah, this is how he does it. Instead of trying to get that SI on the floor, which can be a little finicky, you can just wrench SI and jump up and do another SI. I think Steve's the only person I've ever seen do that.
Absolutely, just showing off his prowess still.
Yeah, we're going to see him going for the rail here. There's a couple different strats that we could be seeing him attempting. Whether he's going to be going for the tiptoes or just the standard glide. I think he attempted the tiptoes, but kind of failed the first one.
Looks like he attempted it, yeah.
Yeah.
Tiptoes are very hard.
The first one is probably the hardest to hit because it's the other after you get one, you can kind of get yourself into a rhythm of timing and button mashing. But the first one is like you're just kind of doing it off the bat. So if you don't get it the first time, yeah. But I mean that's the best way to fail it. You can obviously sort of do all your tiptoes and then fail on the last one, and then it's just like you lose the most time it's possible to lose without dying. Very unfortunate. So I'm calling Sneepyy a bitch in the chat. We'll see how that affects his performance going forward and whether it's going to tilt him during Orcs on 1.
Yeah, some smack talk, some psychological sabotage. I think we know which team Zen is on.
Team Mucka.
Hey, Mucka. Mucka also coming up to the Battalion SI with a very healthy amount of bolts.
Yeah,
now
not too...
Sneep is up to Orcs on 1 out of bounds, and he gets it masterfully first try. Now I said it many times before, but I'll say it again. That out of bounds is very, very tricky indeed. You have just a little slither where you can jump through and get out of bounds as Clank. Now I don't remember who found that exactly. I don't know how they found it. I'm just the one who found the setup for it.
No, I don't know. It was all before my time. We had a consistent setup found by Sippy, and then we had an even more consistent setup found by Sippy. And now everyone thinks that trick is really easy when it used to be an absolute wall to runs. Although it can still take a lot of your time away if you're not paying attention. But Sneepyy having absolutely no problems with it there. We see Mucka getting the hard part of Battalion SI at the same time. Not that much difference between these two runners at the moment. There's still definitely lots of potential for Mucka to pull this back. He's been playing really well.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice to see both runners being not too far behind, not too far away from each other.
Yeah, we're going to see Sneepyy going for the probably the double mid-air strat here. Not an easy strat to get. You need 2 very good mid-airs, and yeah, just a bit of a miss cancel on one of them. It's a shame Manto isn't right about how mid-airs work, because otherwise that would have auto-cancelled and it would have got straight over there. But he's going to have to attempt it again. 2 very strong mid-airs are necessary, and I think that will be... Oh, I don't know. Just shy for Sneepyy.
That looked really good, but yeah.
Yeah, they did look very strong. I'm surprised they didn't make it. We'll see him attempting it a 3rd time now. 2 also looking very strong. I think this time he's going to make it just... Oh, and just
even closer this time.
Yeah, he seems to be... He's definitely going in the right direction. He wasn't happy with that mid-air. He decided against it. He wanted a stronger one to start off with. Now this one, surely.
That looks good.
Yeah, surely.
There
it
we
is.
go. Clears it by a mile.
Clean double mid-air after a handful of attempts from Sneep. So bled a little bit of time to Mucka there. Mucka will be using that to try and catch up as much as he can. But he has to do Orcs on 1 now. And now I don't know what Mucka's relationship with Orcs on 1 is, whether he's whether he's comfortable with it or not. So we'll see him attempting it here, and I guess we'll find out.
Now the setup for this out of bounds is you cannot break the crate on your left. You use that to jam the camera up against the crate, and then you slowly walk forward with Clank, and you pay attention to the bolt texture on his back. As soon as the edge of that clips into the tree, then you jump forward. That's the setup.
And Mucka getting the trick in a relatively quick amount of time there.
Yeah, pretty good. He also had a really good Battalion as well.
Again, about a planet lead Sneepyy has now, but that's that's not that much, honestly. When we're talking about the rest of the run in context, there's still lots of this game to go. To my glee, I love this game. I love commentating it, and we just got so much more RaC to play. Sneep going into Pokey.
Absolutely.
Now we're seeing the guy who's going to be escorting through this level. Definitely the most boring level in the game, especially even in AGB, where we have an S or at least or dive bomb if you're a Chad to make it slightly more interesting. But ultimately, regardless of what category you're playing, you still have to kill every enemy on the level, more or less, to escort the guy. Yeah, lots of the guys in chat. through the entire level to the end, and there's just no quick way to do it. You just got to kill them all one by one. See Mucka maybe attempting the gas bar chain now as well. Thank God we've got some interesting gameplay to watch.
A few runners have poured many hours into looking for an alternative strat on Pokey to get the guy to the end faster, but no dice.
See Mucka going for a slightly different variant of this mid-air chain, which can help if you're well, I mean, it can help because it just doesn't require your mid-airs to be that strong when you start on the elevator to get a bit more speed. This is actually what Franz does, despite Franz's mid-airs being pretty goated. I think he just does it for the sake of consistency. So yeah, if you'll see this in his runs. But the danger for me, I think, is that you can, as Mucka just demonstrated, build up slightly too much speed to get to the end. But I mean, this looks pretty good from Mucka now.
Does Franz still have the sweep on this game?
Yeah, apart from ACM, Franz has every main board world record. He has NG+, NE%, and AGB.
Wow. That man is definitely built different when it comes to RaC 1.
Yeah, he is. He is. The Italian dominance that we're seeing this year in all forms of competition has extended itself to RaC 1, to be sure. Apart from the tennis. They lost the tennis. The one small W against the Italians.
Oh, you mind explaining to us what's going on here? What's Sneepyy doing? Why is he getting so many bolts?
Sneepyy is doing a strat on the boat, which, I mean, even in this auto-scrollery part, there are ways to gain and lose time, just in the form of how many bolts you get. This is another one of those where we don't really know how it works. It's just a certain combination of wrenching and bombing the fish. Gives you more bolts than you would usually get from killing them. We call it jackpot fish. And it basically just boils down to they sort of take 2 points of damage to kill. Throwing the wrench does one of them. So if you wrench them but not kill them and then kill them with the bomb, they just drop more bolts. We don't really know why.
It just works.
Yeah, it just works. And sometimes you can get more bolts than others, and that can be very frustrating because you can just lose a bunch of time on the fish, which are just the most annoying enemies in the game with how awkwardly and finicky they move around. You can get into Sneep almost did that, something I like to call the Hyperstrike Tango with the fish, where you attempt to Hyperstrike them and then they jump under you as you're Hyperstriking. So you turn around and try and Hyperstrike them again and they sort of go under you again, and it just goes until you wise up and move away from them a little bit. But Sneepyy will be doing the dogfight at the end here. Thank God we're done with Pokey. He's going for Fast Fight, which is a much harder method of completing this fight, but he seems to be just getting it.
Wow.
And that fight saves about 8 seconds, and it's usually only used in NG+, so very, very big balls on Sneepyy to go for that there and to nail it on the first try.
Absolutely masterfully done. The first time we've seen that pulled off successfully in this tournament, the fast Pokey dogfight.
Yeah, very
like
nice.
Tab said, very rarely seen. Usually only reserved for the New Game Plus category.
Yeah, I mean, on average, I would say most runners lose time to it. So it's usually only done in NG+, where you need that time save, really, to be competitive. 8 seconds is a huge amount of time in NG+. And it's the kind of thing where you would just reset if you don't hit it, especially in the sort of more competitive echelons of the leaderboard.
Now that Sneepyy has earned the O2 mask from Pokey, he can get back on Orxon and step out as Ratchet on this toxic planet.
Indeed, and he seems to be going for some janky strats here. Wait, not janky strats, but like, you know, janky strats. This is precisely not the janky strat. The janky the person strat.
Having a little bit of trouble there, but getting into the gold bolt room nonetheless.
We're taking a death abuse here just to get back to the start so that he can go do the infobot portion of the level Quite a long sequence, really, in Auxon 2. You have to chase the infobot around to 6 different locations before you can collect it. It will sort of just sit there, and when you get near, it'll fly away to the next place. He's going for some tiptoes here, but an unfortunate bonk on the first one means he will have to try again. The side flip tiptoes on another bonk. Jesh will be very happy in the chat right now. This is something he spends a lot of time with, the side flip tiptoes, the side flip thrust tiptoes, just faster than doing regular tiptoes. You can see he's gaining a lot of horizontal distance over a very small amount of time. And another bonk for Sneepy. Right
I really
at the
thought
end.
that was going to be a ledge grab.
That's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. He's going to be doing it again. Again, bleeding a little bit of time and letting Mucka catch up. He's opting out of it now, just to do the strat a little bit more casually. Just to try and retain his lead. Mucka kind of breathing down his neck in the grand scheme of things here. Nice little thrust over.
Sneepy pulling out his New Game Plus prowess to do that little robot activation.
Mm-hmm. And a very nice double jump thrust over that gap there. That actually doesn't even save that much time, but it does look very cool. And it's kind of just assumed that you would go for it.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was attempting to emulate something I did in the race yesterday there. I remember him saying, everyone was saying I was like styling by doing it, but it was Sneepy who pointed out that it was almost certainly an accident, which was absolutely correct. I was reading chat at the time, and then I just looked back and I was on the side. I think Sneepy was just trying to do it there. Pulling off the chain, making it look easy there. Not an easy chain to pull off. You need a good amount of speed and a good control over your direction there.
Mm-hmm.
And a nice chain back to the ship. Very solid Auxon too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Apart from all the deaths.
Apart from the couple bonks.
Mm.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah. I can't think of a run that I haven't bonked in. It's just too easy.
No one has hit that ILJ sequence correctly in a tournament yet, I don't think.
Yeah, you can ILJ and hit the turret trigger from below there. He's doing it on the way back with the backup strat there, but ideally you would hit it on the first ILJ over. Again, sort of required strats for NG Plus and stuff, but Hoven is just notorious for eating a bunch of time out of nowhere, and that strat is one of the places that it can happen. It's even in AGB. I mean, in AGB there's even more places that can just eat your time out of nowhere, and this ship fight is particularly hated by runners just for having like a seemingly RNG amount of health. There are different positions on the ship where when you shoot them, you do extra damage, which we don't really know why that happens. But it's very inconsistent, and some of the ship parts can take a much longer time to break than you would anticipate, and you can lose 10-15 seconds there without even really trying on a bad day.
Oh, an unfortunate death from Mucka.
Oh no. Yeah, Pokey death is maybe one of the most costly in the entire run. There are a couple places on Altanus that lose a similar amount of time, but he's going to have to do the whole last part of the section again, which includes the boat ride, which obviously takes about 30 to 40 seconds, I think. So not a small time loss at all. A lot easier to die on the fish than you would think. Again, they are extremely finicky, and the crowd control that you have to do with them sometimes is like it's like top runners will make it look a lot easier than it is. They move in ways that is just extremely unpredictable sometimes. Sneepy finishing up Hoven here. He's going to be going into Gemlik very shortly. Something he's been having a lot of trouble with, as we've known over the course of his practice. The tiptoes at the end of Gemlik he seems to be struggling with for some reason. I don't really know why. It's pretty easy. So we'll see if he pulls that off first try.
Humble brag. Yeah, maybe you can pull it off first try when you go up against him.
Oh, I will. Don't worry about it. But I mean, I'll save that smack talk for right before the matchup. See Sneepyy going for fast Gemlick here. The strat that he's definitely more consistent at than I am. So maybe a way to clap back just with the game feed. You told me you failed this yesterday. Yeah, I'm getting more than enough speed to get over there. Very well done. And now going for the chain. See if he can get the toughest tiptoe in the game. He'll need two, I think. Never mind. Never mind. Very well done for Sneepyy. Making it look easy. What do I know?
Very, very clean game like right there. Not the easiest thing. Definitely one of the more difficult planets in the run, I'd say.
Sneep doing his best to tell Tao to go fuck himself. Yeah. I mean, there's no better way to do it than to just silently pull off everything I said he's not good at. And you see him doing that there. Going into Old Harness now. I believe Sneep said at the start of the stream before we started that he wasn't really very comfortable with beam jump, so I don't think we'll be seeing beam jump from him today. But I mean, it's not like he needs it to keep his lead here. He's got a pretty convincing lead now. He's just going to be cruising through Altanis, not really worrying too much. The thing is, I mean, if you include beam jump, Altanis goes from being one of the easiest planets in the run to by far the hardest. There really isn't much you can do to mess up on Altanis when you don't do beam jump. It's all very yeah, just straightforward. You can definitely die at the end of the in the ice section if you're not paying attention, but most runners are well versed enough to sort of know how to move and how to avoid the deaths there.
Mm-hmm.
However, when you don't do it, Altanis becomes one of the most boring planets in the run as well. There's a lot of just walking around on magna rails, just very slowly avoiding mines. You know, beam jump, a blessing and a curse, really. Removing all the boredom and adding all of the butt tension.
It's easy to get a little bit cocky, a little bit complacent here as you're doing this section.
Yeah, I think more than anything, what kills runners on Altanis is complacency. Yeah, I mean, just getting so bored that you fall asleep and then die because you've fallen asleep.
Yeah.
Is usually the main cause of death.
I've been there myself, man.
So it's nice that this planet is sandwiched with much more interesting ones. You've got Gamlick on one side and Nivalis 2 on the second, which has one of the coolest looking chains in the game that I'm sure Sneepyy will be showcasing for us. So look forward to that. Don't adjust your sets. Don't have a nap. Or if you do have a nap, make sure you wake up in 3 minutes. And we'll see the rest of the run. Very nice ice movement there. We'll see if Sneepyy goes for Shimmyless just to flex, but I don't think he will. Because I mean, that's a very silly strat to go for, especially in a race setting. There is a way to get over to the gold bolt here without shimming at all. As you see, he's like still shimmying along the ledge here, but it's very risky. It saves about 3 seconds, and if you fail it, most of the time you die, and that's a big time loss right at the end of Altanis. There, you'd be right back to after the first elevator sends you over. It's I think about 1.5 minutes. But now he's going to get the PDA, and as soon as he's got it, most big time losses are a thing of the past. It's hard to get yourself into a position where you're dying in a tough spot in Altanis or for the rest of the game with the PDA, giving you so many more movement options.
Absolutely, the infinite jump is absolutely invaluable in the game.
Yeah, I mean,
runners are lucky to be able to start off with the PDA.
Yeah, I mean that is a hand in why NG Plus is one of the most optimized categories as well. It's because big time losses don't huge time losses don't really exist if you're paying attention. So it really just comes down to optimizing the movement down to the smallest minute details, and only the craziest, most Italian people in the world would even consider putting themselves through that. But for the normal British people in the world, Sneep does have the British world record in NG+. So he does know how to use the PDA. He knows his way around the tech. We'll be seeing him display his prominence with it as the... well, as soon as he gets a pack back, really. Altanis, there isn't much you can do to save or lose time. Unless, of course, you die at the end of this gold vault section, which nobody would ever be stupid enough to do in a run.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Sneepy has the officially, verifiably, the best time in Britain in the world.
It's true. Of all the Britons in the world, Sneepy has the best NG+ time across all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty crazy to think about. But what's crazier is that now we are done with this cesspool of a planet and we'll be going to Nivalis 2. So all the people who are currently napping, I'm going to raise my voice a little bit to wake you up. And we're going to start having some fun again. I'm really happy to be commentating RaC 1 Sippy. It's going well so far. And I just love talking about this game. I love the game. I love the movement. And yeah, and I love the runners. Both of these runners. Let's get some love for Mucker and Sneepy right now. They're playing their hearts out.
It shows, man. It absolutely shows. I mean, you wouldn't be the #2 in the world in AGB if you didn't like this game as much as you do.
Yeah, you know, if I liked it a little more, maybe I'd be #1. But again, we've just got some Italian hurdles in the way of that. Ratchet and Clank speedrunners are so handsome and talented. That's true. You're very handsome and talented, Sippy. Has anyone ever told you that?
Not enough.
Not enough. Maybe I'll tell you. I'll make a point of telling you every day, just so you know. Just so you know.
That would really inflate my ego.
Oh, I won't do it then. If you get too big of an ego, maybe you stop finding things for the community, and we all know that's a bad thing. Sneepy getting a very odd state cancel there, getting it on the ground and getting like a weird slide out of it. I don't think I've ever seen that before. A couple of times, if you are watching that particular segment in Nivalis 2, during the water slide when they're near the pipes, it'll look like they just mess up and start gliding out of nowhere, but there's actually a state cancel that happens just around those pipes. Some runners think it has to do with the sort of movement of the pipes and the way it interacts with Ratchet, but it will just reset your state. So if you're doing a long jump, you'll just start gliding out of nowhere. It's an incredibly weird thing to have to deal with in a run. See Sneepy going for a pretty good momentum chain here. This is one of the flashier looking tricks in the run. You're going to store all of his momentum in that water slide and then unleash it all across the map. And we're seeing him doing that now. Carrying all of this speed. Optimally, you would carry all of that speed into that cave there and then PDA side flip up to get the vault. Literally just taking your momentum from one part of the level all the way to the other side. And we'll be seeing that again in Quartu, the next planet. Has a similar trick where you just kind of build up momentum one side of the level and go all the way over to the next, all the way over to the far side.
Mm-hmm.
There's some really nuts traps in this back half of the run.
Rarely in this game do you get a chance to carry a chain from one end of the planet all the way to the other. You love to see it so masterfully done.
Yeah, pretty clean from Sneepy there. We've got Mucker over on the right attempting the Hoven ILJ. Also having some problems with it.
A little bit too fast, too quick. Yes, sometimes even speedrunners can be a little bit too fast for certain tricks.
I'm resisting the urge to make jokes that I shouldn't be making.
Maybe on the after show.
Nice. A nice out of bounds from Sneep to get to the end of the level. The thing you need to understand about Ratchet and Clank 1 speedrunning is that the beginning is at the end. Now, and that's used a lot. I'm joking, but this is actually true. Most of the time, we are just finding ways to just break into the back of the level from the start. And you see Sneep doing exactly that here. With Quartu. J-Hobbs moment, yeah. J-Hobbs explains it a lot better than I do. But I always find it helps to think of it like a bus.
It helps me to think of it like a dog. It can grow and shrink, and it can never die.
If you're not careful like Noth, you can lose all your speed on Quatu during the ILJ, but Sneepy doing it extremely well there with the Ghost Ratchet combo to just go from all the way from, again, the furthest point in the way, in the level that you could be, just flying all the way over. Absolutely beautifully done.
The biggest strat that you can do in this arena section is looking down.
Yeah, it's true. There isn't a lot you can do to speed this this section up, and it is notoriously laggy, one of the laggiest parts of the game, just because of all the big models that the game has to render in. But there is time to be saved and lost on this arena. If you, well, we don't really know how it works, despite some American runners who might tell you otherwise. There is a chance that you get the rockets killing these enemies in one shot, and we don't really know how to get it. We think it has something to do with the amount of lag that's caused by the game, and there's some kind of compensation there. But Sneepy not getting it here, and that can save significant time when you do.
Absolutely end up using his mic privileges to throw a couple shots.
I don't think I've thrown enough shots.
You know what?
I think I should be throwing one shot per planet. That should be my average.
Yeah, let's make it a quota.
Oh, missing that getting in the ship there, but you can see you get the checkpoint, so it doesn't really lose any time at all. Going into Iridia now, also a very flashy planet. Most of the planets in the back half of the run here are really just about showing off the flashiest movement that you can. All of the chains look incredibly cool. It's really just a privilege that we have a game with tricks and movement that just looks so cool, and they're actually just the fastest things you can do. So Sneepy getting Cactus Proxy there, incredibly cool looking trick. To just fly up over the barrier there, and actually optimal. It's not just flashy, it's fast. It's the fastest thing you can do. We've got a Sans Undertale chant going on now. Not entirely sure why.
Why not? Never a bad time for one.
I guess not.
What makes this speedrun even more interesting is that a couple of these planets, such as Novalence and Iridia, in a casual playthrough, these are one of the first planets that you see, and in the speedrun we do them right at the end once we have the PDA.
Yeah, having to get the extra load in to Novalis. I mean, you can see how quickly he burned through it with the PDA. It saves so much time that extra load actually is basically insignificant in comparison. So there's a couple that we're revisiting. Obviously, already we're only visiting for the first time here. In most runs, it is completely skipped. So you only really get it on the way back, on the back half of the run with the PDA, because it's if you can go to it at any point in the run, you might as well go to it then. And also getting the info bot for Iridia is done on the bar list too. So the reason you're seeing it now is kind of because the planets are visited in the order that minimizes the amount of menuing time. And when you pick up infobots, regardless of where you're supposed to complete them casually, they show up at the bottom of the list. So it's visited in this order, and you'll see Sneep now going one down for the rest of the run, all the way down to Velden 2 when he gets it at Fleet. Mucka having problems with that Sneepy tiptoe there. Unfortunate.
No exciting hacker action from Sneepy. Any trespassers?
Yeah, I mean, he really could have solved a puzzle or two there for the fans. But I think he just wants to close this run out, and who can blame him? He's probably already thinking, I mean, if you're Mucka and Sneepy right now, you're probably already thinking about the inevitable Todd in our future. Hopefully not as much of a nail biter. I mean, maybe. Well, I mean, for us as viewers, hopefully
Yeah.
precisely as much of a nail biter as yesterday's match was. And can I just say while I've got the mic, what a fucking game that was! Holy shit! I didn't get to talk about it really because I was too busy hating myself at the end of the day. But yeah, I mean, nothing but grats to Mucka for just keeping it so interesting for such a long time. Every single time I was expecting him to just make some mistake, and he just didn't. But neither did I, so it just stayed neck and neck the whole time. Absolutely crazy. At one point, I saw... I will shut up about this very, very quickly. At one point when we got GGS at exactly the same time, I was expecting... you see, Mucka's going for beam jump now. We got GGS exactly the same time. It was quite late, I think, but I screamed. I went, Mucka! So loudly because I got it, and then I looked over and I saw him getting it. As soon as I looked over, he was also up there. Yeah, what a nuts run. Sneepy burning through fleet here, as Mucka's going to be going for beam jump.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that NG Plus runners would be very familiar with. This chain, it's actually incredibly weird example of something in RaC where this chain is precisely done in NG Plus as well, but it's the exact mirror image. It's exactly the same chain, but just you turn off to the left instead of the right, and all the same textures are there. It's just really weird that you do exactly the same chain, but just going left one way and going right the other way, in different categories. And Sneepy getting it pretty convincingly there.
Mucka trying for beam jump, you'll love to see it. This is like the equivalent of declaring a home run right before you're on the bat.
Yeah, absolutely. As we said earlier, just the hardest trick in the game, period. There is no single trick that is more difficult or more precise than beam jump, and there are multiple extremely precise inputs that you need to do. People practice this for just tens and tens of hours, and still, you know, the best I've ever been at it is probably about a coin flip, with just a silly amount of practice.
Nothing even comes close to being as hard as this trick in terms of RaC 1. I mean, this is like 2 or 3 hard tricks back to back stacked on top of each other.
Yeah, I'd say it was about as bad as, I don't know. I was thinking about, like, maybe I could compare it to Scrunchless in RaC 3, but I don't know how I would. I don't know if I would say it's harder than Scrunchless. It's I'd say it's slightly harder than Scrunchless is. There's more that you have to do, but the level of precision is definitely comparable. I was thinking maybe like 2 Scrunchlesses.
In a row?
Scrunchless is easier, but more punishing to miss. Yeah, this is true. It also depends on the way that you mess it up, actually. Like, there's a way that you can... There's a couple of ways that you can mess up beam jump that don't really lose any time at all. But there's a couple that, you know, straight up kill you.
I'm really rooting for Mucka here to get this beam jump. If he gets this, you guys better pop up that.
Sneepy missing the gold bolt there. Very unfortunate. He's going to have to do that chain on Kaliber 3 again.
Yeah, nasty death.
Definitely not going to turn the tide of the race, but you've got to be frustrated if you're Sneepy just wanting to close this run up and getting on to the next one. Another miss for Mucka. The real question is, can he get it before Sneepy finishes the run? Or is he just going to resign himself to some dirty pee in Todd in the meantime?
He's got a little bit of time, but really not too long to get this beam jump. Last night it was all Tannis, now it's Mucka's turn to conquer beam jump.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I like his setup. I think he's a little bit too far to the left there. At least it's not what I do.
Umbers, I'm a Umbers, not all Tannis.
Musa VC. I think he wants Musa in the VC to walk him through how to do beam jump here. Very interesting strat. I don't know if this is allowed. Is this? Are we allowing coaching mid-run?
This isn't Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You can't call a friend on this one.
Is this legal for the run? Who knows? I think we're gonna have to get the RaC champs to weigh in.
Is this tournament legal? RaC champs, you decide.
Mucka saying he did it once 2 months ago. Are we going to see 6 ammo from Sneep? It's very important that he gets that just in case on
It could make or break.
I don't think we are going to see the 6 ammo. We'll see if that comes back to haunt him. It really seems to be marathon tradition at this point. But, I mean, he's looking pretty strong, getting that long jump SI very convincingly. Also one of the flashier strats in the game. A very cool movement sequence to get over to the goal vault very quickly. He'll buy it with the PDA. There it is, the Redemption 6 ammo buy from Sneepyy, solidifying in RaC Champs history.
Thank you, Izzy. Can we DM Mobius to find out if the Musa VC is tournament legal?
Yeah, any questions, please ask Mobius. We're just the commentators. Mobius, of course, being the RaC champ. The champ of RaC.
Oh, so close from Mucka.
It really can't be understated how precise this trick is. The angles on your stick need to be perfect. Your timing on the wrench swing needs to be perfect. Your initial setup needs to be pretty close to perfect. And then when you get up there, you're not done. You can still die and lose it all. Yeah, just absolutely punishing, and now required reading really for any competitive, any percent in AGB time. It just saves too much to not at least practice. If you have any delusions about toppling the Italians on the top of the boards.
Now, if I recall correctly, you're the only one that has gone for this trick so far and successfully pulled it off. Am I right?
In the tournament, yeah.
In the tournament.
Yeah.
And you've done it twice now.
I have done it twice now, haven't I?
Yeah.
That's fun. Yeah. I know you got to do it for the fans, really, don't you? Which is I think exactly the level that Mucka's on right now. So you got to respect it. How far is Sneepyy ahead? There's it's Albi here. He's basically about to finish. Victory is all but guaranteed at this point, at least in this first game. And we're going to be probably going to Tools of Destruction afterwards, if I know Mucka.
But you never know. You never discounted that explosive diarrhea.
Could come from anywhere. I think we're actually 6 for 6 on mentions of explosive diarrhea during RaC Champs now, so I'm really happy that's just an unbroken streak.
It's funny we talk about the runners getting explosive diarrhea, but really, as gross as this sounds, the only real people that got diarrhea during the course of this tournament have been the commentators. So it's really bit us in the ass.
Yeah, I mean, you can see Mucka here lamenting the lack of Musa. It really seems like he's been deserted at this point. Really tough to see going into game 2 to know that your friends don't have your back. Can we get some fuck Musas in the chat, please? I mean, you've made him cry.
Yeah, Musa. What the hell, man? Some friend you are.
Alternatively, we could just ban Musa. That would be good also.
Or
Definitely.
both. Why not both?
57-58 from Sneepyy. Closing up this first game and cementing a 1-0 lead against Mucka. Now, I have a feeling I know exactly what game we're about to see next, but just in case, Mucka, you mind unmuting and telling us what you want to play?
Tools of Destruction.
I'd say that counts. No, we've got to take his first answer, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you heard it here first. Size matters, game 2. Load up your PPSSPPs, gentlemen. No, of course, we will be going to Tools of Destruction, Mucka's strongest category by far.
While the runners are setting up here, Zem, would you like to hop back on the mic? Tell us a little bit about this tournament.
Oh, I would love to, Sippy. We are RaC Champs. It's a pleasure to have you all here. This is a crowd-funded event here. So as you can see, I'm going to pull up the stats. We are currently at $1,500 even, which is absolutely massive. That means that first place is going to get a whopping 600 schmeckles. Bare minimum. That's guaranteed. As you can see, there's a full breakdown here at the bottom of your screen that breaks down the entire percentage structure of the tournament. All 5 runners will be paid because all 5 runners have put in a lot of their own time, effort, blood, sweat, tears, etc. into this tournament, and we want to make sure they feel the love. So if you want to contribute to this prize pool, all you have to do is donate to the stream during each match, and a portion of all merch sales that happen over the course of this event will also be put towards the prize pool. I believe that's all I have to say about this right now. And so, gentlemen, you can take it away once again.
Thank you very much, my man.
Schmeckles.
Yes, schmeckles. That's it's Yiddish.
What is the what's the conversion rate there, Zam, if you don't mind?
1 schmeckel is equal to at least 1 schmeckel.
Thank you. So you heard it here first. 1,500 at least schmeckles for all of the runners in the total prize pool to be divided up in slightly different proportions. Sneepy getting his dirty pee in and turn down your audio, gents. I don't know if it actually happens there, but the camera rotating there leads me to think that it is. Mucka just telling us that he's going to get his potassium intake before the start of the run.
Get those electrolytes.
Is that legal?
I don't know. It could be performance enhancing, couldn't it?
I feel like I should just be given the win.
Okay,
Anyway, that's the
2-0
only- that's the only
Sneepy.
joke I have.
Another sweep on Mucka. I can't believe it. And Sneepy on the board now for the tournament, really winning his first game. That's the best it can be going for him right now.
We have some official arbitration on this matter of Mucka taking a break to go get a banana. And in the event of banana strats, we would like to officially announce that Sneepy is a bitch.
Wow.
Well, I couldn't have said it better myself. Despite the incredibly emphatic Gemlick that he pulled off, it is true that Sneepy is indeed still a bitch. You really
Until
hate
proven otherwise.
You really hate to see it, but yeah, I mean, we're gonna go forward knowing that until he pulls out some better times in this tournament. He's really just got it all to prove now. Running the gauntlet over the next 4 days, he's gonna want to make a statement. So Sippy,
yeah.
To fill some of the air while we're waiting for Mucka to get his banana.
Yes.
What are we looking forward to seeing in Todd today? What are the highlights, the lowlights, and what are you looking forward to seeing?
The highlights today we're going to be seeing is Size Matters, and a low light is Todd.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe a little more
Thank you.
specific on the Todd run. Points of interest, maybe. Things to look forward to. Things to look forward to going to take a piss during. Maybe that.
During Todd, there is nothing.
Not for you.
I'm back.
However,
Okay, we don't have to have that conversation. Mucka is back, banana in hand, assumedly, and both of our runners are on the load screens. So maybe we can get some verbal confirmation from Sneepy that he's ready.
Yes.
And you,
Mucka,
Mucka, are you
you,
done with your banana?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then we'll be kicking off game 2 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And the same joke we make it every time, a blistering start to the run as we wait 10 seconds for any gameplay to start. I think we're also pretty good for making that joke consistently every time. But maybe if we could, I don't know if it's going to impede on the game, but just change the scenes, I don't think we're in the correct scene for this game. There we go. Well, all the labels are correct now.
There we go.
We were not indeed watching Ratchet & Clank 2002. But both
Sneepy
these
with a
runners...
good-
Sorry about that, gentlemen.
Sneepy.
I was too busy thirsting over women on Tinder.
That makes sense.
Understandable.
We've all been there. But yeah, I mean, we're coming up to the first trick in the run now. And absolutely the most volatile trick in the run is Cohen. They're going to be looking to clip out very quickly, as quickly as they can. Sneepy getting a bit of a wrench lock on there to just annoy him a little bit. And a first fail for Sneepy, and a fail for Mucker as well. This trick really can just take it all away from you, and is extremely demanding to just do on demand in a marathon setting. But we see Sneep getting a second try, with Musa having a bit more trouble with it than that. So Sneepy will be taking an early lead here, and we'll see if he can capitalize on that. But Mucker not too far behind him, pulling it off as well.
Hot on
So
his
another
tail.
close start on Todd, which you love to see. People can definitely get walled on this. We've seen deaths already we've seen multiple deaths that have cost people minutes at the start of the run here. So it's really nice that our runners are trying to keep things as close as possible here already.
Now, Sleepy with a good display of sportsmanship before the run even begun, taking no time to do any dirty pee as Muka was getting his banana. Sneepy first out of, what is this, Metropolis?
Cohen, yeah.
Heroin, yeah.
Cohen, or according to my splits, Veldin, which maybe has occurred to me afterwards, because Ricky, the couple of times that he was commentating, called it Veldin. And it occurred to me that maybe he thought it was Veldin just because my split said it was. But that was a funny joke made by one of my chat members. Common practice now to allow people to rename your splits, and just straight up misinformation for the purposes of watching the runs, unfortunately. We'll see Sneepy maintaining his lead now as we go through this movement-intensive part of Kabalia. Not a hell of a lot to the movement in Todd, but definitely time to lose and save with just precise lines and good ammo management and good sort of enemy management. There's a little bit of crowd control to do with some of the smaller enemies and a lot of potential for little bonks and things every so often along the way.
Stevie with a slight lead on Muka, but Muka definitely still hot on his tail.
Yeah, not too much between them right now. I mean, an extra Veldin attempt is really all that separates them, and I don't see much more in it than that. Got the chat very excited for the Cum Factory coming up, but we do have to watch a Leviathan fight first. Don't worry, you're all popping off a little too early, but we will definitely have the Cum Factory very shortly. You just need to hold off on that trigger finger. A good, clean Leviathan kill from Sneepy here, and Muka just half a health bar away, really. This is, I mean, this is looking as tight as it was yesterday, which is great to see. Nobody wanting to concede this game too. Muka really not wanting to concede it, but Sneepy really looking to make a statement about the fact that he has arrived on the scene and is ready to rumble.
Mm-hmm.
And there it is, our white shot of the Cum Factory.
If you were here yesterday, you know that Sneepy is going up a force that's not to be easily reckoned with, but Sneepy's still very confident with his display of gameplay here. Muka being the number 2 in Todd 10GB in the world, he definitely has a hell of a fight ahead of him.
Yeah, number 2, and number 2, and the only other 24. Most people, well, I mean, any runner is really going to struggle to get a time that low. You'd have to get like a very optimized run, and just know about all of just have a really much more intimate knowledge of how the movement and the tricks work. But Muka is absolutely no slouch. So that little bit of extra knowledge on the game, that little bit of extra game sense and movement, could well be what helps him close the gap here on Sneepy. Again, not too far behind at all. We see lots of cum blobs being shot around by both of the runners, using them to bounce around the Cum Factory. getting up to the block rank here.
Blobs getting shot, half of them on the runners' heads.
Yeah, a couple of deaths for Mucker in that location earlier in the runs. I think I've seen him die there multiple times. So he's got to be happy. He's going to be happy that he didn't take that time loss there this time.
We should see that smuggler about the ride he promised.
And the last blobs have come, just being shot out now for a little clip through the wall. Well done by Sneep to land on that top bit. You can there's quite a small amount of invisible floor there, and if you fall off without getting a long jump first, then you have to glide all the way down. It can be very frustrating. Big time loss. Mucker
also getting that very quickly. Hard on his tail, like I said.
Yeah, really, again, not much between them at all. Another very close one as we move into Kortog. And why not? We're going to be seeing if either of our runners, probably won't now that I'm saying this, but we'll see if either of our runners forget to do the incredibly difficult freefall skip in this game. What you do is that you hold L2 down. And Sneep gets it. So
it's a miracle
very, very well done from Sneep. Now we're going to be getting the sort of.
Oh no way! Both runners get it first try. The incredible freefall skip.
You got to be popping off if you're Mucker and Sneep here. And Sneep getting the Shark Ravager. I'm using it to kill some enemies here while he's still got the ×2 multiplier on the bolts. Little potential for crash here on Kortog. Lots of particles as you're killing these guys, and definitely possible to just straight up crash the game as you're doing it. It can also happen during the arena fight at the end.
Yeah, it's honestly surprising that we have not seen any crashes from anyone on Todd so far.
Yeah, really surprising. Two things kind of happening at the same time there. Mucker getting killed by the crates there, getting all fusing grenade ammo when all he needs is Shock Ravager. He needs full ammo going to this next section. And Sneepy getting a low run, the fast bounce, which is very, very rare, but saves a handful of seconds. Sneepy and Mucker messing up the wall bounce at the same time, so Sneepy will be extending his lead. Not something you want to see if you're Mucker right now. But Sneepy has told me that he's had troubles with his wall bounce before, and there it is, a death for Sneepy. So that will be a lead change here. And
a
you got
devastating
to be happy about that if you're Mucker.
Lead change. Yeah.
Just like that, the lead changes hands. Sneepy told me before the race started that was the wall bounce that he has the most problems with, and you see that coming into effect for him there. But just because this lead has changed hands doesn't mean that this race is any less tight. I mean, if anything, it's just become more tight since the death. Now probably only about, I would say, 10, 15 seconds in it.
Mm-hmm. Now Sneepy is hot on Mucker's heels right now.
Yeah, he really needs this wall bounce now. Mucker making it look trivial. And there it is.
Very nicely done.
Yeah, well done by Sneepy. He's just a chain behind Mucker. We'll see if Mucker can get the little yeet. He is yoked straight into the bolt. The bolt yoked.
Looks like we might just see a little bit of a repeat from last night here. Both runners very close, and they're already 10 minutes into the run. Almost 10 minutes.
They are really keeping it close for us right now. Dare I say a repeat of yesterday. It's going to come down to GGS. It's going to come down to good movement on fast students. Might even come down to Bolt RNG, Nundak, and Mukau. There's just so many things there that can turn the tides a little bit one way, a little bit the other. If you're Mucker, you really need to play well and not underestimate what Sneepy's capable of at all.
Now, remember, Mucker also has one trick, one little ace up his sleeve. The arena fight. I believe he does that better than anybody else in this whole tournament. We saw him save about 10 seconds over Tab just in the arena fight alone.
Yeah, that really was the decider of that race. It really just kind of came down to Mucker knowing exactly what to do during that arena fight, give him the edge he needed to win. And we'll see him, demonstrate that prowess again today. I have no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, having a little bit of trouble with the wrench What would you call that? The like the vine, or what? Is there a word I'm not thinking of here? Like it's not a rail.
It's on the tip of my tongue. It's zip line. That's it.
Zip line. That's it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Having a bit of trouble getting on the zip line there. Yeah, interesting. A lot of interesting strats with Fastoon. You see Mucka probably taking some damage on purpose here because of the death abuse that he'll have later in the run. That 5 health is really what you want to be on, so that you don't have to hit too many mines later on and lose a bit of time. A Quarksalot run for Mucka. I think one of the first we've seen. Lots of Quarkanopolis, but not many Quarksalots. We'll see what Sneepy gets. With a Quarkowski, he really could be bringing this race back to be a bit tighter, maybe even take the lead. But Mucka with a good amount of bolts. Maybe he's going to need to collect a few more here, though. Again, he's looking for about a 24 or 25k check going into the auto-scroller or just leaving Fastoon. But you can get like a surprisingly large amount on these like barriers here. You can just get like 2,000 from them for no reason. But he didn't get that either, so he is a little bit underbolted here. And that could make the difference going into GGS.
Quarkanopolis. A tournament favorite, it looks like.
Yeah, Quarkanopolis has been most of them, I think. Stefan is just hogging the limelight of the tournament here. Sneepy's bolt count looking to be a little better than Mucka's now. He's going to spend a little bit of extra time just making sure, but Mucka getting GGS.
Ooh, pretty quick GGS.
Pretty quickly, yeah.
For those that
again,
don't know what the hell we're talking about, you can get the secret message that you get from Quark. You can get from 3 different aliases, and we believe that some aliases bless the run, some curse it.
Sneepy with a first try GGS to close the gap on Mucka a little bit there. So we really do have a race now. As I'm saying, Mucka is ahead, but he is slightly shy on bolts. We'll see if the auto-scroller makes a difference here. I think he's going to be okay, but it could just bite him in the ass a little bit towards the back end of the run.
Mucka's been managing his health very well throughout this whole level so far, so he'll probably get a slightly quicker death warp than Sneepy.
Yeah, Sneepy on full health at the moment, so he's going to have to get hit by some of these enemies. He's going to want another hit really now. Yeah, that's all good. He's going to use his iframes to just tank his way through that, and 3 health is very, I don't want to say healthy. Oh, getting a bit of extra health there, though, but it didn't take his... He got some nanotech there, but just didn't take his health up. He went from red 3 to green 3. Not something I've ever seen before. Interesting. He went from an unhealthy 3 to a healthy 3. Todd moment. Todd moment indeed.
Todd is an enigmatic game.
I'm really just extremely confused as to what just happened. We'll see what the mines do to him as instant death as Mucka leaves Fastoon. Still not that much time there.
I just want to talk.
And still really anyone's game as we go into the auto-scroller.
Now, if anyone fancies another nap, this will be the time to take one. We got an auto-scroller coming up. The worst kind of auto-scroller, as we like to mention every chance that we get. Us, as viewers and commentators, we just gotta lay back and do a whole lot of nothing, while the runners have to pay attention the entire time. Not only because they have to destroy these little ships to get as many bolts as they can in the section, but they have to hit 5 special targets along the way to get the gold bolt. If they miss even one, it's GG, and they have to do this whole auto-scroller all over again. That being said, I'm just gonna kick back, relax, let the runners...
Wake me up when it's done.
Let the runners do their thing.
We are RaC champs. It's a pleasure to have you all here. I figured I'd take over things while these 2 runners catch up on their beauty rest. I think I gave Sippy quite the shock there. I have nothing important to say. I just thought it'd be funny to chime in right there. And you know what? It was.
No donos this time around. This is usually a good dono section.
No.
Damn.
That's sad.
Well, you know how it be sometimes. They say that you really don't think it be like it is, but it do.
Open your pockets, boys and girls. Donate to this fantastic tournament that all these boys have spent such a long amount of time putting all their effort into, and get some more love for our runners. I think is I guess what I'm going to say. And one more thing I can say is that the more money you donate, the more you put into this prize pot, the more money that Zem has to send me, and that's regardless of what happens. So that's just going to be a personal W for me. Every single little dollar broken down into whatever percentage I get at the end of this tournament.
Oh my God.
It's just going to make me feel slightly better.
It's working. We have a $1 donation from Ben J. Lin that says simply donation message. Yeah. Thank you, Ben. Really great stuff.
It really do be donation message.
Fantastic. This $1,501 tournament now. Pretty nuts.
Gotta change that title.
Going into the both of our runners in the clank section of the auto scroller now. Really just dead ass had a nap and it's still not over. But you know, we'll cope. We're on the back half of it. What are we doing? 1,501.
And counting, question mark.
And we're back. Okay.
Had to make
Just
sure
in
everyone
time.
saw that I properly updated it, you know.
Mm-hmm. Andy saying
Yes.
Tab just spent a minimum 8 cents, which I'm very stoked about.
All right, then Mook is in the clear for the gold vault with a nice setup to get that last target. It's very tricky unless you don't unless you do have that setup to hit that last target. Some can attest to that.
There are
Sneepy.
2 more donations coming in if I have the chance.
Absolutely.
Floor's yours.
There is a $1 donation from Tread that says depreciation is like a dog.
It really is. Finally, someone said it.
You know,
Thank you,
people
Trent.
have been biting their tongues about this for such a long time. Yeah, I'm really glad that somebody had the courage to come out and spit some straight facts. Not a printer in sight, ladies and gentlemen. Depreciation is like a dog. A RaC Champs exclusive meme. Nobody else has made that joke before.
We also have a $5 donation from Debilis that says free money for you guys.
Thank you so much, Debilis.
Thank you very much, guys. That's all very much appreciated. Big or small, the donations are just an outpouring of love that I can't really comprehend, honestly.
I would also like to say one last little thing. Because I swapped scenes, I completely fucked up the timers, which essentially just means that both of these runners have guaranteed world record right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see this. We're on world record pace by a quite significant margin. Killer sweating right now. He's going to lose his dearly beloved 10 gold bolts world record that he grinded.
I'm sorry, we have one last donation that I missed. Another $1 coming in from Ben J. Lin saying, long-time watcher, second-time donator.
Greetings from Germany, perhaps?
The German's been kind of quiet ever since that donation dropped. I don't know.
All right, everyone, all the viewers, wake up, wake back up. It's time for more actual gameplay here now.
Yeah, I kind of forgot I actually had to talk about things that were happening on the screen. Really terrible. Both of our runners in Muck out. Muck. Oh, God damn it. I can't. They're just too similar. I can't say Muckau and then say Mucka straight away afterwards. Mucka.
He needs his morning coffee.
Mucka ahead in Muckau by about the same margin. I would say about 15 seconds here. But Sneepy's still on his tail, and again, still anything could happen here. Lots of different places to mess up.
Absolutely. Sneepy's still hot on Mucka's heels, pulling no punches. It's still anybody's game, however, it's almost that time that Mucka will pull that ace out of his sleeve very soon.
Yeah, when he gets into the arena, I think Sneepy's going to have to be content with the fact that he's going to be losing a bit of time. So we're going to see if he can pull it back, capitalize on any mistakes that Mucka's going to make moving forwards. He's really going to need to just try as hard as he can here to keep that going forwards. Neither of these runners I think, want this to go to... well, I mean, obviously, at this point, Mucka does want it to go to Size Matters, but if Sneepy can close it out here, I'm sure he would absolutely love to. Neither of them wants it to be decided by Size Matters, with how just brutally volatile that category is, with the two tricks that you can practice until the cows come home, but just ultimately in a marathon setting, you can fail them and you lose, and there's not really much you can do about it.
Even if Mucka pulls ahead by a good bit here, it's still anybody's game, because the next planet is arguably the hardest in the game. Lots of tricky wall jumps.
Yeah, I mean, it really just is the Nundak bounce that a lot of runners have problems with. And yeah, you can find yourself throwing yourself at it for lots of attempts on end. It seems to be one of those tricks that you think you have down, and then you'll just fail it a bunch of times, and you don't know why. A very frustrating thing to do. See Mucka blasting through the arena here, having a little trouble with some of the enemies actually, but still making a case for himself as the arena king, as he is known for being the sort of deadlocked goat. But again, it's very arena heavy.
Yeah, he has nothing to fear.
Oh,
I've
and a death
spoken too
in
soon.
the arena. That is devastating, and Sneepy will take the lead in this now. You really, really don't like to see that if you're Mucka. I said it before that you can die during the arena if you stop paying attention. Sometimes the shots just do more damage than at other times, and sometimes you can get one hit, so you really need to avoid being hit in any case. I don't know if he was already on low health or if he just got really unlucky there. But that will be a lead change. Mucka, as good as he is at these arena fights, is going to have to really struggle to get his lead back now. So Sneepy being the first into the frog boss. Can we get some frog emojis in the chat for the last time for this race? For the big frog boss. Again, important to note, though, that even though we've had a lead change, and this is devastating for Mucka, not over yet. Not over at all. Sneepy
Not over
is going to be the first. Is going to be the first into Nundak, but tricks there that can lose you a buttload of time, and definitely the potential for hyper strike crashes as well if he decides to go for that. Yeah. So until we're on Aldolis, there is no way to tell who's going to win this.
Mucka really not that far behind in the grand scheme of things. Sneepy will have to play very well on the next planet to try and keep his lead. If he stops paying attention for a little bit, I'm sure that Mucka will seize the opportunity and gain the lead right back.
Mucka is having some graphical glitches here. I'm not entirely sure what's going on his screen, but I guess we can still see the game feed.
Any RGB fans in the chat?
Yeah, a really interesting one. I think this is a cap card issue rather than a game issue. Sneepy opting out of going for the animation skip on the goal bolt there. I don't know if he's just not comfortable doing it or if he just doesn't think he needs it to close the run out. He's just going for slightly safer strats. So I'm saying Sneep has about a 28-second lead. You see Mucka going for the ship bounce as well now, getting it first try. But this is what it all comes down to. If Sneepy gets this wall bounce quickly, it is all but over. Mucka taking the death abuse there with the animation skip. He's going to be taking he's going to gain on Sneepy here as he's messing this up. This is going to come down to it, but Sneepy getting it on the third try and just keeping his lead over Mucka, who is now hot on his tail. Mucka decides to go for Mucka with a first try. If Mucka decides to go for the charge boot strat here and Sneepy doesn't, with a scare of crashing, this could be really close. I don't actually know how much time that strat saves, but it definitely saves a decent amount. And there's also the potential for one of them to fall down. You have to go under the texture and then whip back up. And that is slightly more precise than you would actually think. If they're staying complacent here, or just get nervous and mistime that a little bit, then they're going to fall and have to recover. So this is getting kind of tense now. Sneepy is going for the hyperstrike strat here,
Sneepy
getting it on the first attempt.
He knows he has to keep his lead. He knows he has to do everything he can to keep that lead. He knows Muck is right on his tail.
Fantastic, that whip. And he gets the whip.
And a follow as well.
This hyperstrike, if he gets it, it is all but over now. Really just a victory lap on the last planet. I think we are seeing Sneepy with the Mucka sweep. Mucka trying to close out the run here. Yeah.
Really not much left to fail here on our goal. It's just one wall jump that Sneepy gets first try.
First try, and now it's just
GG.
Just a glide down to the bolt. Failing any last second explosive diarrhea, there is not much that can be done for Mucka here. And there it is, a Sneepy sweepy 2-0.
Sub 10 poggers.
Sub 10, new world record, everyone. Absolutely crazy. What an emphatic opener to this tournament for Sneepy. You've got to be happy about that.
Wow.
And Mucka closing it up just behind him. Not dissimilar from the race we saw yesterday in terms of closeness. COD proving to be a little bit more exciting to watch in the back half of the tournament now. Was kind of just a blowout before, but two really, really close matches with multiple lead changes in 2 days. Watch Scotto's montage, I think, is what Sneep's about to say.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the first time we're not seeing size matters in a match.
And thank God for that. Yeah, I mean, this is the only other two sweeps. Was RaC 1 was the only one we didn't see. Because I commentated both of them. I was really upset we didn't get to see RaC 1. So yeah, size matters not on display. To that, I think to the joy of everyone but Mucka, who, as Andy says, Andy said it earlier. I think the drop on that was that with that loss, Mucka is now out of the running for the final. He needed to win that game. With his with the amount of game wins that he's got now, having played all of his games, it's not possible for him to make it, unfortunately. But he will be taking a share of the prize pool regardless, and I think maybe he still has a fourth place to play for as well, potentially. I'm not sure precisely, but I think I'm assuming we would have to do playoffs for like 5th and 4th if our runners were tied in game wins, or would it just go down to who won in their matchup?
We will figure that out.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to do some tiebreakers in some way or another.
Yeah, I'm not one of the RaC champs, so I can't give you the drop on that.
We will cross that bridge when we get to it. Now, Sneepy, being the winner of this match.
Do you mind? I'm sorry. Before we get Sneepy in here, do you guys mind if I read off some last-minute donos?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Of course.
I just want to make sure we got these out of the way. We got $5 coming in from Blaster Past Damba, saying this whole thing has been straight fire. Hope we get to see similar to this in the future. We have $6.96 coming in from Scone Pro, saying that's worth 5 Greg's sausage rolls. I don't even know what that means, but I'm sure there's somebody who does.
A delicacy in the UK.
Of course, it's a British thing. Mm-hmm. And we have $1 coming in from Ronnie Dimebag Schuldiner, saying, fuck, I was asleep. Did I miss the auto-scroller? Do it again. I wasn't looking.
Fantastic. Thank you, everyone, for all of those. Thanks, very Ronnie. Much appreciated. What are we up to now? Like 15:25? Very crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we are done with the Sweepy Sneepy, and maybe we could get him on the mic now to talk about what we've just seen. Sneepy, you there?
Yeah. Hi.
Hey.
Hi, buddy. How you doing?
How you feeling?
Oh, I don't know, man. I didn't expect that.
A really, really strong opening to the tournament from you. I think you said in chat that it was a 26-05, which was
Yeah, it's a crazy run. It's better
yeah,
than I
which
could even do, like, leading up to this.
yeah, very, 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 very strong opening. You've got to be satisfied with that. The sweep. Are you feeling like you're
No,
going to be able
yeah,
to keep this momentum going?
I mean, I hope so. I've got Izzy tomorrow. I think it's almost guaranteed that we see size matters tomorrow. I don't fancy my chances there, but I think I've got a pretty good chance.
Yeah, I think most people would say you're the favorite for tomorrow's matchup. So I mean, it's really, I guess, instead of talking about tomorrow, let's talk about the 2 days after that. How are you feeling for the back half of this gauntlet? Because I think those two games are really going to be making decisive changes to the tournament bracket and making a point about who's gonna be in the final.
Yeah. So I won't comment on my third opponent.
Why not?
I just don't feel like it, you know.
No.
But I was talking to Scott, and I think for the hype of the tournament, I do think it would be insane if I were to play Scotto at a point where we're both undefeated.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would just be for vanity at that point, because I think if you beat me and Izzy, you're both just in the final straight up. Well, I think Scott, I would have to. No. If you beat me and Izzy, you're both just in the final. So you'd just be
Yeah,
playing
if I
for
beat
vanity.
you and Izzy, and then yeah, I don't know how it
Yeah.
works. It's all
Like for me
confusing to me.
for me to get in, for example, I think I need to beat you, and I also need Scotto to beat you. And then if all of those, if you win tomorrow, and then I 2-1 you, and then Scotto 2-1s you, then we're both on 6 game wins. So we'd have to do a playoff for the final.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, in terms of this match today, I'm more glad than winning the race. I'm more glad that I didn't have to play size Maz.
Yeah. I think I can speak
I'm
for all
sure
of us when I
everybody's
say that.
happy that there was no size Maz today.
I think I can speak for all of us when I say that that game is some
You can speak
bullshit.
for some of us.
It's not great. Yeah, I'm playing Izzy tomorrow, and then you, and then Scott Friday.
Yeah, so stick
Wait.
around, everyone, for those. What?
What day is it today?
It's Tuesday, my guy.
Oh
Is
wow,
it?
it is Tuesday.
Oh damn.
It's Chew Tuesdays.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I just want to say Mucka is like, he's insane. I didn't fully fancy my chances today. I'm really glad I could close it out. Yeah, he's great. He's one of the best we have now. He was he was one of the biggest motivators for me, especially last year. I think he won run of the year. So he's definitely no walkover. Yeah, I'm just happy.
Yeah. Very.
I actually, that's like the most I've popped off over anything in years is when I left Nundeck.
Yeah.
It was
I mean,
it's a massive relief.
At that point, the run is basically over.
Mm.
You've got to, yeah. I think Ricky called it a victory lap before, and it definitely feels like that in this context. If you're ahead going into Ardolus, then you've won. You know, you can mess up.
Yeah,
the
but it
wall
was
bounce,
so
but it
close.
doesn't.
I could have, if I fail that maybe 3 times, then it's definitely not over.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not gonna drag this on.
Would you like to give any other shout outs? Or would you like to tell us anything about yourself personally while you have the chance here?
There's nothing to tell. Um, I don't have any shout outs.
I guess one thing I can ask you is, how did it feel? Because it's the first time we really had you on the mic as someone. How did it feel as someone who's watching everyone play their games last week? What was the thought process going into the practice, going into picking the games up to de-rust during the weekend, knowing that you were going to have to run this gauntlet this week?
Yeah, it was. I think I was more nervous watching your games though, Tab. Like I think I had a mild panic attack yesterday. I couldn't I had to stop watching multiple times during your race yesterday.
How do you think I fucking felt?
Yeah. Well, you said you were more tilted than nervous, so.
Well, after size matters, I was extremely tilted during the Todd race, right up until I had all of the adrenaline for the whole race because of how close we were, and the tilt and the sadness only really came about 5 seconds after I picked up the last bolt. I was very much like, it kind of, because it didn't really, because of how crazy everything had been, it didn't really occur to me that I had lost, or it didn't really set in that I'd lost until like after the run was done. So during the run, I was like extremely hyped, and I screamed multiple times at the top of my lungs. Every time I was expecting something to happen that didn't happen, or as I said earlier in the proceedings during TGS, when I got it and then I looked over and I saw Mucka had just got it at exactly the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
I literally screamed at my screen.
We both definitely performed in Todd. Like, I'm not entirely sure anybody expected either of our races against Mucka in Todd to come down to the wire in the fashion that they did.
Yeah, two incredibly close races. Definitely good viewing material, and hopefully we'll see Todd make itself known as we move forward in the rest of the bracket.
Yeah, I'm just really happy. I'm excited to play more.
Good, and we will be seeing nothing but Sneepyy for the rest of the week. So, everyone's going to be happy with that, apart from maybe you when you get clapped on Thursday. But don't worry about that. We'll deal with that on Thursday, and then you can move forward to play Scotto.
Who am I playing on Thursday? Is that Scotto? It must be.
No, I don't think it is. It's one of the other players. It's one of the other runners. Can't put my finger on it, but I think I just remember thinking earlier that you were going to get destroyed by them. So, maybe just proceed with caution, I guess, is all I can really say. Because I think that guy's pretty good at RaC 1, and I mean, I don't know if you saw the Todd race that he did yesterday, pretty crazy as well. So
I don't know, my Todd run was faster than yours. That's unlucky.
Knew you were going to bring that up. Well, you watch me bring out the 24 in the race. It's absolutely fine. I'm not worried, even in the slightest.
Okay.
So yeah, any closing remarks for us, Sneep, as we bring this proceeding to an end? Any last minute?
I think I'm just gonna post a Sneepyy sweep in the chat, and then that's gonna be it from me. You can get that, and if you subscribe to me for $5.99, or with Twitch Prime, twitch.tv/Sneepyy
sweep.
That's all. Zem, can you cut us off? Because if you don't, we're just gonna sit here and talk for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, it's about time.
I was going to bring it to a close just because I don't like the sound of your voice, Sneep. But I mean, I'm glad you brought Zem in there to mediate.
Yeah, I got to play Arbiter here real quick.
If I could do some last minute shout outs, now that the trash talk is over, let's bring it back to a more positive note. If we could bring up our contestant cards up at the top, back for a second. Thank you very much. If you have enjoyed what you just witnessed here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to hit those follows on that Twitch and Twitter links up at the top below. I mean above my head, right there. It's free. It takes only a couple seconds, and you get sexy, hot RaC runs in your Twitch following pages from now on until forever.
Yeah, make sure to follow all of the runners that have links on stream. Every single one of them has been so good during the course of this tournament.
And I'd personally like to give a shout out to Onetabloid and Sneepyy for handling the commentary today. You guys did a fantastic job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Zem.
My pleasure.
very much appreciated. Now, if you could rip control of this channel back into your wanting hands so we can get out of here.
Yeah, I'm going to do exactly
That'd be
that.
appreciated.
I'm going to hop on over to my other scene here. Thank you guys all so much. Appreciate it, and I will catch you all around next time.
See y'all tomorrow.